Do you guys remember the DNA testing company 23andMe?
You always wonder, who does make you who you are? Is it nature? Is it nurture? Is it a combination of both?
There's this 50% blank slate of unknown in my life. Trying to close that is an important part of self-discovery.
Guess who?
Unbelievable.
One is wanted a big sister.
You angel.
It was crazy that we were so close so quick.
It felt like we were instantly on the same page.
All my life, this is what I've wanted to know. This is just incredible.
It's a new family member. She's an aunt to my children, a friend to my wife.
It's really amazing. Something that just happens in the movies, I guess.
Well, 23andMe has just officially declared bankruptcy this week, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about what happened, why they went bankrupt, and more importantly, what this means for other future DNA companies like Ancestry.com. My name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz, and let me talk to you about the 23andMe situation that wasn't for me. So what really got me interested in looking into 23andMe was actually the founder of 23andMe. When I was reading the article to maybe do a video about this, I saw Miss Wojcicki. So I saw the name for the article and the CEO, and I saw Miss Wojcicki. And I'm like, wait a minute, Miss Wojcicki? Isn't that the owner or the CEO of YouTube?
Morning person or night owl?
Night owl.
Coffee drinker or tea fan?
Coffee with milk.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Roll over and see if I can sleep in longer.
So I went to do some research on the whole thing, and it turns out Susan and Annie are not the same Wojcicki brothers or sisters, actually, now that I think about it. And they are two different people, two separate CEOs. One used to be CEO for YouTube. This woman, Annie, used to be the CEO of 23andMe, or was the startup founder and CEO.
Ann Wojcicki, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
You have got about 500,000 genotyped customers. You want tens of millions of people genotyped. You did it yourself. How did it change your behavior and what did you learn?
So one of the most important things I learned was that I'm higher risk for breast cancer, and my mother has had breast cancer. So it really changed my behavior in the sense that I actually stopped drinking alcohol casually. And so for me, it was really empowering to actually get information where I felt like I can actually make lifestyle changes to decrease my risk.
And it all comes from spitting in a cup. I remember Ann doing this 2 years ago. It's a whole lot of spit. But you can get a lot of information, which can be life-changing. But what do you say to people that say, sometimes too much information, I don't want to know, and just go with faith?
So that gave me a lot more time to research into this and what really happened and what went wrong. You guys know about 23andMe, right? You probably see some ads. Maybe you know some famous people like Oprah. Maybe you got Snoop Dogg. There's a few famous people that were on the 23andMe brand expansion, and a lot of famous people were catching on. And the main thing about 23andMe is basically they never turned a profit.
Genetic testing company 23andMe filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection to initiate the process of selling off its assets, while the troubled firm's co-founder, Ann Wojcicki, who was attempting to take 23andMe private, stepped down from her role with the intent to become an outside bidder for the asset sale. 23andMe went public in 2021 after completing a merger with a special purpose acquisition company, or SPAC. The genetic testing company's market capitalization peaked at $6 billion shortly after going public, with Wojcicki becoming a billionaire. However, since then, the company's share price has plummeted by more than 99% as it failed to turn a profit. In 2023, the company reported a major data breach as hackers managed to gain access to user data through a recycled password attack. The sensitive stolen data was shared on hacker forums, and the sellers claimed it contained over 1 million genetic data points belonging to Ashkenazi Jews. The stolen data also reportedly featured unvalidated entries belonging to tech billionaires like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. In a press release, the company said it had initiated Chapter 11 proceedings before the Eastern District of Missouri Federal Bankruptcy Court to, quote, facilitate a sale process to maximize the value of its business. The genetics testing company said it will continue to operate its business while the asset sales process goes through, and there will be, quote, no changes made to how it, quote, stores, manages, or protects customer data. The DNA testing firm also announced its co-founder, Ann Wojcicki, was stepping down from her role as CEO, effective immediately. However, she will continue to serve as a member of 23andMe's board. Last month, Wojcicki partnered with investment firm New Mountain Capital to make a bid to purchase all of 23andMe's outstanding shares for $2.53 per share, but the effort failed after the investment firm pulled out of the deal. If the court approves the Chapter 11 plan, the company plans to solicit bids over 45 days and then conduct an auction if multiple bidders emerge. The statement said any potential buyer will be required to, quote, comply with applicable law with respect to the treatment of customer data. For more on this story, check out Siladitya Ray's article in the link in the description.
They've been open for just under 20 years. And throughout those 20 years and being valued as up to $6 billion, which is about the net worth of the Forever 21 CEOs, both of them, you know, it's kind of surprising that a company that never turns a profit somehow, you know, can stay in business for over 20 years from funding and investments. And so with all the money being spent in to make 23andMe profitable, and I guess them not actually being able to turn a profit, it would seem that with this in mind, like, how is this even runnable for over 20 years? I'm not entirely sure how much capital funding they put into this company, but I will say it's pretty crazy to never turn a profit for over 20 years. Now, with 23andMe never turning a profit, they also happen to get fined by the UK in about like 2020, 2021 about a data breach in the early 2020s. And what happened was, with this in mind, you know, they actually had to pay over a $5 million fine. And having to pay such a big fine without turning any profit, they actually ended up cutting about 40% of their team. And this was basically going to be like the nail in the coffin, as you could say, for this whole company. I wouldn't say this is like a loitering money scheme, but just like, I'm just surprised they were able to last so long off of capital funds. Even if it seemed like they were making money, they weren't turning a profit. So it just seems like people would pull the plug earlier, no? But 23andMe was a huge company, and I mean, everyone knows about it. I feel like my generation knows a bit more about Ancestry.com.
For over 30 years, you've connected to your family history with Ancestry. Our expansive record collections and growing network of family trees have helped our members make billions of meaningful connections, because your family's story has always been our priority. Imagine what's possible when we connect it all together.
That's really been the big one. And, you know, maybe this company was only so successful, quote unquote, was running for so long because of the data it provided for people and their ancestry history and whatnot. So that's maybe one of the few hypotheses I have as to why they kept the store running. But yeah, they've decided to officially call bankruptcy. And I mean, with, once again, so many companies going bankrupt that are from my generation growing up, I'm just kind of surprised Forever 21, 23andMe, Skype. I mean, I just saw a video the other day of this guy recreating a really cool scene from the Skype ringtone, which real quick, let me show y'all, because it is so impressive. Yeah, it brings back memories, doesn't it? But check out that video, which will be linked down below. Overall, I'm just really, really surprised to let y'all know that the times are officially changing. People constantly do go out of business, and people constantly take over new markets and take over in the industry, but it's just kind of mind-blowing to talk about it today. And did you guys ever use 23andMe? If you guys had any stories, you know, do you find anything cool about using 23andMe? Let me know in the comments below. Why do you think they were able to last so long with all the funding and whatnot? And why did people decide to keep investing into 23andMe, even though they never turned a profit for over 20 years? Thirdly, I'd like to add, do you guys think Snapchat is up on the ropes? I'm going to becoming broke. I heard that they weren't able to turn profits for years, and now that they're paying Absorbit's money to people trying to be influencers and make videos on Snapchat, which seems to be a big wave, I'm just wondering, what do you guys think about the whole situation with Snapchat? Are they doing good, or are they one of the big tech giants next to fall? My name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and check out my next video, which will probably be soon, about another company going bankrupt. Take care, have an awesome day, peace. When I was reading the article to maybe do a video about this, I saw Miss Wojcicek, I'm not saying that name right, Miss Wojcicek? Anyways,